Yo, I found the greatest show on Netflix.
Which one?
What?
It's called 100 Physique.
Oh, I saw that. That's awesome.
Oh, that Asian show.
The Korean
Yeah,
show.
great.
Korean
Korean
show.
show, dude. Put some respect on the name.
I said
Respect
Asian.
respect
I'm
your
so right.
Asians. Respect your Asians, South Koreans. And I don't know what happened. I just saw the show and it was like it was literally midnight. And I was trying to turn the TV off and it just popped up like on like Aki. And I was just like, let's play. I'm gonna watch it for 2 minutes. I just wanted to see a trailer. Literally like an hour and a half later, I'm like, oh shit, I'm still watching this. Dude.
What is that, Gladiator, but South Korea?
No, it's like Squid Games, but like
Squid Games.
CrossFit with Squid Games.
No,
That's the way I would define it.
The way they marketed it and got these contestants on is like, we're looking for the fittest South Korean. And so everyone who's like in the fitness, they're MMA fighters or firefighters, anyone who thought they were like fit and in shape, bodybuilders, this is culmination of just muscle. They apply for the show, like fitness models, like the gambit is so wide on this show. Like one guy's a mountain rescue, the other guy's an Olympic gymnast, the other guy's like a professional MMA fighter, legend, YouTube influencers. They just have this gambit of wide open of and these guys are all freaking like built like rocks, like chiseled abs, everything. Yo, they're freaking some of the prettiest people I've ever seen in this world.
Okay,
I'm trying to say
very, very descriptive. It got very descriptive. Okay,
but yeah, so they picked these 100
midnight,
people. Midnight. They pit these people in like one-on-one Survivor-esque competitions, like Squid Games-esque competitions. The first one was they had to hang from a bar for whoever last one standing.
As long as you could, yeah.
And then the next episode is a wrestling match where they have to like grab the ball and they chose their opponents. It's all right. It's insane. I highly recommend everyone tune in. And this show is oddly addictive. Today, Sim saw me watching it. She sat down and all of a sudden 40 minutes later and I was like, yo, I got to go kick it to this podcast. But
we got the Shin endorsement. So The Last of Us and Physical 100.
Anyways.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing. It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
Just wanted to put that out there before we started. But yo, there's a fourth box in here today.
Yeah, yo. Let me give a little shout out introduction to the Sandy Line, aka Sunny Moga, aka Sunny G, aka SKG. What? Come on, give me some more. AKA Sandy. What's up?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, yo. Welcome. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been trying to get you on for a while. Finally, it worked out. It's a good thing I kind of know you. So that was the end.
Otherwise, it would have been a cancellation. These guys are not professional at all.
Yeah. We got zero.
I don't think she's ever coming back.
No, but now that she's here, she sees how professional we are. We're all like ready. We're on time. We discussed our topics. Really,
we didn't cancel any recording days. We recorded on the one day we specified.
Okay,
super on point.
To our excuse, you got to give it to us that it's the Bengals game. That game's freaking going off.
That was
I heard it was great.
It's not for this guy. Not for the guy in the Bengals jersey.
I wore the shirt. I haven't taken it off yet. I'm not ready to take it off. I spent too much money on this last week to take it off this early.
Oh, you just bought it ahead of the game and then
I bought it. Yeah, that kind of sums it up. No, I bought it. I bought it after last week's game, so I got it on Monday, and then they lost.
Yeah, that was a tough way to go. That one player pushes a QB, they get a penalty, and they win with a field goal.
And Raji gets paid.
I actually didn't because the spread wasn't good, close enough. So,
well, then I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Either way, though, yo, it's kind of mess, man. Like everybody left him on the bench, sitting there crying. It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
The one player who screwed up.
Oh, okay.
He kind of deserved it, no?
No, because it's a play that
nobody was consoling the guy. They just left.
Heat of the moment, yeah. There's only one guy, one teammate.
He's probably getting canceled next season anyways. They're like, no point in trying to be this guy's friend.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, it wasn't so egregious. Like, it was just like a mental breakdown. It's not like, he did something really fucked up and crossed the line or something. It's not like got pissed and punched him in the face. We're talking about like split seconds. The guy, he shouldn't have pushed him. It was a dumb play, but people have mental lapses all the time. It's pretty fucked how hard the world's coming down on them, especially for sport. But
I mean,
it's a crazy sport.
but that's sport in general, no?
Eh,
Like I've always
Yeah.
felt like in sport, you get the moments where everyone wants to lift you, and then we teach kids, pat each other on the backs. It's a team effort. You win and lose as a team, but shit happens. You're kind of under. Everyone's disappointed, no?
You know what? Yes and no. Like, if I do make a basketball comparison, it's like someone, takes a bad shot and it turns into a turnover and it goes the other way, and someone hits a buzzer beater or makes an errant pass in soccer, hockey, or basketball, which causes the other team to win. Like, that is okay because everybody kind of does that, and there's 82 games and there's playoffs. It's a long season. I feel like because football, there's such few games, it's compounded, and so much work and prep goes into just like 5-6 months of playing, and just one errant play, just one small mental lapse, man, it can kill a whole season. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but I think that's how the sport is. Crazy.
Yeah, my night was, and so now you understand how I came across watching 100 Physique,
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
I go through that, and then I'm just in there, and I'm like, "What's on Netflix?" And then
Let's watch a room full of betas working out. Or wait, alphas. Are they betas or are they alphas?
they're alphas. They're all top G's. Yo, Sandy, you mentioned this. You wanted to. What was you said something interesting. You said a lot of the students you teach talk about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, a lot of the young boys are fans of him and like have their icon picture changed to his photo, and like
Wow.
they just obsess over him.
That's not a very Andrew Tate move. That's not a very,
How old? Sorry, how old are these kids?
Like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
so-
reach is far. Holy shit.
So-
That's
Remember when I told you guys about Andrew Tate, and a lot of people your age, my age, our age, were like, "Who?" Because he just got arrested. And no, this guy's name didn't even make the newspaper in a lot of newspapers because it was that non-event. But on YouTube and the internet, this was everywhere. People were losing their mind. And it just shows.
Yeah,
Like, go ahead.
oh yeah, and they just like they want to learn from him. They want to like he's their idol. They want to do all the things he does, and they think that he makes so much money and is a good businessman. But it's hard to make them understand that just because he does a couple of things right doesn't mean he's a good role model. And they're
is
like,
that is that mostly from Is that mostly from TikTok? Would you say their exposure to him, or I mean, it's obviously social media, but is it TikTok?
TikTok and YouTube.
This guy was
YouTube
huge on
is-
TikTok, and he was really big in like streaming circles, like with
Yeah.
young streamers.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because I can kind of understand like the older male segment flocking to him because they've gone through the change, right? They've seen this wave of women making their own in the world and them taking a different role than what their fathers have, and some guys might feel emasculated by it. But these kids, that's actually surprising, man.
What if their
'Cause-
dads are watching it though? Right?
I
What if their dads are into Andrew Tate? Who knows?
I
I
feel
don't-
like some young boys are getting back into being hyper masculine. Like that's becoming more popular.
It's a
It's
weird
like
thing,
a
though, right? 'Cause-
renaissance of it, yeah.
No, but like if you're a young kid, you never knew the world when it was like, I don't know,
Hyper masculine.
hyper masculine to a degree. And even when you say talk about hyper masculinity, when was that?
Like they are still surrounded by like gender fluid people, and they're still surrounded by like people still figuring out their sexuality and being open about it, and LGBTQ plus, like that's still something they're growing up around so much more than we were,
Mhm.
and they're still becoming super super alpha and like masculine and choose to listen to and watch people that are like that, which I don't know why that is, but yeah, it is.
It's pretty crazy because we grew up in that wrestling era, the Attitude Era. And if you watch those videos from back in the day, like how were we watching this? It's the same kind of stuff, right? Like the DX, the suck it generator. Like if you just go through like how the hell was this allowed to be for kids? It was influencing us like crazy. So it's just another form of media, maybe. I don't know. Like why did we think that wrestling era was so cool?
But like, I think there's this danger to Andrew Tate because he tries to preach. He's like a life coach. He's like with wrestling, everyone would tell us it's fake. You know, you knew there was an entertainment value to it. And you're watching it for the entertainment. But with Andrew Tate, there's a genuine level of respect I've seen people have for him. I remember when I was joking with someone about the Matrix, you know, and someone's like, "Don't worry, Baji, he's gonna be free." I was like, "What?" He's like, "It'll be good. Don't be sad. I know we're all sad right now." I was like, oh shit. I think I've really given myself over to the wrong side of the spectrum here, but but like there is this, I don't know, because so if you guys aren't familiar with Andrew Tate, I feel like I don't know if I should be the one giving too much of a backstory on him just because
Yeah. Give it. We talked about it a few weeks ago, but
we did.
go on.
But what this guy was really big for is he'd go on podcasts, like a lot of these culture war podcasts that were really hip. Obviously, he'd never show up here, but he'd go on there. It'd be like a room full of women, and he'd just sit there and he'd be like, "You know what? You need to shut up. You need to listen to what I have to say. You got to understand that a woman's place is beside her man. She has to do what a man has to say." And like he would say these things openly and people would try to call him out on it. And he's like, "Why are you trying to, you know, play this?" He's like, "This is what I should be. A man should be there. He should be the breadwinner. He should work out. He should, you know, have a strong, positive backbone. He needs to be he was very much men need to take dominant charge and be in charge of their lives. You need to work out. You need to learn how to fight." He was very like, pro male in that area. And very much the woman should be beside him. And as a male, you are the one who needs to command your relationship. Things that we used to joke about or that we always considered to be memes, he basically said, "Yeah, this is 100% life."
I wonder how that works out these days in the dating world. Is that that missing? Is that kind of male missing?
I mean, if you look at how he made his money, though, like his whole thing was he ran a webcam company.
Okay.
He got charged and he's been in jail for human trafficking.
Yikes.
So, you know, I would like to think that he may have taken the philosophy that he was trying to preach overboard to people.
Yeah.
But kids love him.
That's our perspective, as far as we see. So, other than your students, do women talk about him, Sandy?
Just online. I haven't had any conversations about him in my circles, but I've seen talk about him online. It's just the same thing. Like he's just someone who does not treat women with respect, and he said a lot of questionable things. And I think that is enough for me never to Google him.
Yeah. So I guess not a glowing review of Andrew Tate. Got it.
And I mean,
Yeah.
internet's banned him, right? Like he got banned on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all blocked his accounts and blocked even TikTok blocked his main account. And it wasn't until Elon Musk took over the reign of Twitter that he kind of got back into social media. The people did see his philosophy as a threat.
You think if he was broke that anybody would pay attention to him?
No.
It's just the allure of being rich, right? So it's it's this recent fascination that everyone has with materialistic goods and money. And getting rich quick, not getting rich, slowly. And now you couple that with what he's saying, and now he's saying this, but he's rich, so he must be right. It's one of these kind of brainwashing scenarios, right? Because if he was broke, no one would listen to him.
And
he would just be another voice on the internet.
And he reinforced it, right? Like he'd go on these podcasts, and if someone tried to call him out on his bullshit, he'd be like, "Hold up, tell me what color your Bugatti is," or he'd say shit like that. He's like, "Why am I taking life advice from a brokey?" He's like, "You're sitting here trying to tell these people in your audience how to live their lives and be an influence in their lives, but you don't even have a Bugatti." He's like, at the very least,
just like delivery. That's just what these young kids find so cool.
Well,
the way that he talks.
Now that you mentioned it, I was kind of like, there's a thought percolating in my head, and
just
I'm gonna draw some. There's gonna be some ire that I might draw, but like, just hear me out. Just hear me out. Like, so you said it yourself, the world that these kids grow up in is very different than us, and you see it from the inside, and you know what we grew up with, 90s babies, etc. So now they have this whole new faucet of dealing with, fluid sexuality, LGBTQ plus, which we didn't really have. Not too many people came out or explored that or talked about it openly. So I want to say, let's say last 15, 20 years have been a push one way. And I'm all about balance. So maybe Andrew Tate is a guy, negative, fine, but he's bringing some sort of balance to the discourse that's out there. Like he's being a pull in the other direction.
You're calling him Luke Skywalker? He's bringing balance to the Force?
No, I'm calling him like, no, I'm calling him Anakin Skywalker, actually.
Oh, I see. The dark side, eh?
Yeah. So it was too much light, maybe a little bit of dark, if you want to call it that way. Whatever your perspective is, it could be the opposite for some people, right? Either way, his place in the world is just to bring some balance to the discourse that's been out there, and predominantly, like, he's canceled because what he's saying is not popular with the status quo, but he's still popular because it resonates with a lot of people.
I don't even think it's about resonation. I mean, I think he's saying the things you're not supposed to say, right? And a lot of things he says, a lot of men agree with, but they don't say it. There is that kind of like, that's what, yeah, he's very top G, right? Like in their head, it's like, but I'm not going to say it, but I'll let him say it and I'll be a fan, right? I'll listen to his TikToks or Instagram or whatever you call it. So there's that as well, right? So let's not think that he's brainwashing a lot of people. He's just echoing what's already internal on them in their heads, right? He's just like, oh, we can't say it, so he can. So that's I think more kind of why they're agreeing with him than brainwashing his kids. And the kids is strange, man. I just think it's this delivery money. This is a generation that is the crypto world. There's, they tell me all the time, I'm not going to study for that long. I think it's a waste of time. What do you say to that generation? It's all about getting money quick, right? They're living in where the real estate agents are making $2 million and this and that. They're coming up in a very different world than us. So guy who makes money, saying all the right things, yeah, he's cool, right? That's the way I look at it. I mean, I don't even think he has to try hard to do it. That's the funny thing. He's not trying. He's calculated, but it doesn't sound like he's saying things that are not been said in certain friend circles, right? We've all heard certain things he's already said. We just know better not to say them or not to agree with them. So
yeah, I mean, we like a few years when we talked about it, we said even if he says like 1 out of 5 things right, like some of the wrong things are just too wrong.
It's like he'll push and then he crosses the line, but then he'll come back. You're like,
yeah, where you can't really gloss over it.
It's like, I mean, it's another one of our friends, Trump. We always wonder why do people like him? Yeah, he says the right things. He'll say the one thing that's wrong. He'll pull him right back. It's the same intrigue, right?
But interesting here, Sandy. So you hear these kids talking about him and like fanboying him. How do you talk to them about it? Like, how do you convince them? Yeah, he's not the hero you want him to be.
I say the same thing, that some of the things that we just said right now, like if we look at everything he said a lot of really bad things, and those really bad things, I have to dumb it down, are much worse than any of the good things he's done or said. And that unfortunately isn't always convincing for the kids because they're like, oh, he's still a top G. But I try to make them understand that in the long run, that doesn't mean that he's just because he says a couple of things that they think they agree with, his track record speaks otherwise. And it's important to look at all the actions of someone before you make them your idol.
And something Randy said that kind of stuck now is he was saying how every now and then you say something that's somewhat enlightening. We talked about how kids are now growing up in this new generation. Even Sandy mentioned it, how the world's a lot different than when we were there. Maybe Sandy can speak to this better, but is there a cancel culture amongst students? Like, you can't say that, you could get suspended if you say that. And is that something that exists now? Or is that just only online?
To an extent, like if they hear another student saying something, like it becomes a very big deal. Like if they hear a student saying like the N-word or the G word or even anything about like Andrew Tate, whatever, they immediately are like, oh my God, he said this, tell the teacher. Like they immediately pounce on it.
full disclosure, I have no idea what the G word is. I'm like going through.
You do.
a mental
You do.
roll.
You do. You
I
do.
do.
Dude, you
What
have
did
to
we say
think-
growing up that we no longer say anymore?
3 letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't
Yes.
say that. I swear to God, I thought that was one of the topics today.
Like calling somebody
Oh,
it is not.
Oh, it's a slur.
Acceptable, yeah.
Oh, okay. I get.
Shinda's brain was fizzling there. He's like,
I really was like, what?
he did the Punjabi ginti. He's like,
I mean, look, man. Honestly, we never know. This came up in a real conversation today, where someone made a joke, and they used the word puff, but they weren't
What?
referring to anyone, and I didn't know what puff. And I'm like, I don't get the insult. And
What's
like, no,
puff?
that it's a derogatory word for someone who's gay.
Oh.
I didn't know
learned
that.
something new. I learned something new.
And I learned, I'm like, okay, do not say that word out loud in here. I just said it. So, well, that's life. But what you said about, like, you know, if you're getting in trouble for saying things all the time, and now you have one guy who's openly saying things that cause trouble and he's not afraid to say them, there's something heroic about that. It's like, oh, he said that word that we're not allowed, or he said that thing. feel like-
Yeah.
And I think
Like, it's
adults
just
fall
like-
into it too with Trump.
Rules, because they break the rules, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
But there still has to be a distinction between being able to judge somebody's character and like their values, which is what I try my best to teach them. But it's hard, especially when they're being fed so many things from all different directions.
Mm.
They
Well-
just store it in their brain.
Just brain
Well-
rot.
This
Yeah.
this kind of leads me to something else that was big on the internet recently. Shoulders. I don't know if anybody. Yeah, brush your shoulders off. I don't know if anybody is aware. I know Shinda is, but
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
you
So
or
go-
Robbie
go.
or Sandy. I don't know if you know about this too, but there was a young lady, I believe from the UK, who was celebrating her 20th birthday and posted a picture and drew a lot of ire. I like that word today, ire. Anyways, she got a lot of flack for her outfit.
Shinda's writing a word down.
Yeah,
I need to see a photo.
fashion police. I will send you a photo.
Shinda put it up in
as we chat. I'll let Shinda break it down and I'll send you a picture so you have a context for what we're talking about.
All right. So this happened.
Where was she? I mean, it's just a random picture online.
No. So I don't want to. I want to say this respectfully because I don't want to drag her back through this because I felt like she got like the short end of this for no reason. She was celebrating her birthday with her friends. She posted a picture online saying, you know, great night, celebrated with friends. Like, it's one of those type posts.
Yeah.
She was wearing, I presume, what was just a normal dress or get up that had exposed shoulders. She's wearing a kieski. This, I feel like, is important to the discussion because that's part of the criticism that came up after this. There was nothing scandalous in my opinion from it, but
Nothing.
because it went online and then
Hold on. Was this in the UK?
it was in the UK.
Yeah.
Right. Hold on. I need to know what this means after. And I'm pretty sure she didn't think this was going to blow up. I think she thought this was going to go to her and her 200 followers or whoever it was. And it was just going to be something that got glossed over. But someone quote tweeted it. This individual who runs a big account. He has like 4,000 followers. He runs a prominent charity in Punjab, you know, old school Singh. And he was just kind of like criticizing the outfit, saying, look, BBO, you're wearing a dastard on your head. That's not your dastard. That's Guru Sahib's dastard. You know, if you want to dress naked, by all means, do whatever you want to do. Just take your dastard off. And that, you know, got picked up by millions of people. Maybe not millions, but it got picked up, went around. A lot of people, everyone. I don't think there were too many people agreeing with him. Everyone was like, what the hell, yo? You can't be calling her out and like retweeting a picture, her account with her picture. She quickly turned her account private. You know, people continue to shit on this man for like 24 hours. He deleted the tweet. Then he released a follow-up tweet trying to justify what he said. And then he made a video kind of talking about it. And he was just like, look, you guys do what you guys want to do, but it wasn't so much an apology. It was more of a, let me explain what you guys didn't understand from my tweet. You clearly didn't understand what I was trying to say.
I'ma do me.
Yeah. Posted this 5-minute video talking about, in a Western society, I understand there's this need to fit in, but as Sikhs, we should rise above it. And he was wearing jeans and a vest in this video, which caught a lot of people like, how are you talking about Western attire while dressed in Western attire at the same time? And then 72 hours later, he officially apologized by saying, I'm sorry I quote-tweeted the girl. I shouldn't have called her out in that way, but I still stand by what I kind of said, because y'all need to censor yourselves online and not be running around naked. that was the gist of it.
All right. So again, why I walked this line of being canceled, but visceral reaction when I saw it, it was kind of like a juxtaposition that I'm not really used to.
Holy smokes. Are we playing Scrabble here? Juxtaposition. This guy with the 26-letter words.
Let's pulling out his dictionary. It's just like,
it was like,
I can't even write that word. I can't even spell that word, man.
Usually when you see people with the stara, young boys and girls, and they have like, let me say with religious tindana, not like patka or something, but like they kind of look somewhat religious, and generally in our community, obviously there are exceptions, but women who will rock to the star are a much smaller minority than the men who will rock at the star. So I would go as far as to say that generally they're more religiously inclined rather than just doing it for the culture. So my brain is trained to think, I see woman, I see pug, I think someone's slightly religious, and generally they do dress pretty modestly. People take it as far as they want, and that standard, what's modest has changed year by year by year by year by year. This kid might have pushed it like 6 months in advance, but like 15, 20 years ago, if some BB wore leggings, somebody might have called her out on it, and look at it now, it's the most normal thing ever. So yeah, visceral reaction, I thought it was, I don't want to say understand what he was saying, because he just fucking took it way too far. It was different, but it was nothing bad. I'm gonna leave it there. I'll just leave it there.
Sandy, I feel like you had thoughts.
I feel like for myself, anytime anything like this comes up, it just brings me back to it's taking us all away from Sikhi, and the time spent on looking at the picture, developing a judgment on the picture, feeling entitled to feel a type of way about the picture. All of that is inherently against what it means to be a Sikh. So for me, I think if we want to do better, we should just look at the picture and move on with our day. And focus on you. And focus on the things that you need to be doing. And this is specifically to that man. Things that he needs to be doing to be a better Sikh. Because the judgments are definitely one of the first things that are against our religion. Before we had any rules about how we're supposed to dress or look or what we're supposed to eat or drink, the first rule was don't judge people. We are all one. That's it. That's how I feel when I see something like that. And it just makes my, like, the older I get, I just feel like I can't even involve myself in those conversations, because it's just like, it's taking us so much further away. The whole conversation just goes in the opposite direction. And it's not about him or it's not about her at the end of the day. It's about how we're so far away from what our religion was meant to be.
Robbie, you had something. You were like UK and you didn't seem surprised. Why was that?
Oh, let's take the atheist view, man. Everybody has too much. They're too biddly out there. That's what it is, man. Like older I get, man, you got time. Unless echoing Sandy's sentiments there. Work on yourself, man. You got time for this stuff. Anyone who's doing that is just, that's all they have to do. To judge, to criticize, to look at someone else and say, well, this is a big problem. I mean, really? Seriously? This is it. This is the one. This is the sword you're going to die on. This is the one you're going to take. There's a lot of other things that we got to attack in our community. That's really not one. You know, if it was, I can understand the reaction on his part of not liking it, maybe because it doesn't jive with the way his thought process might work, but to publicly come out and bully someone, to make an example of them, when this person is not, I guess, out there publicly or promoting themselves or saying this is the way you should dress. And it's just a birthday picture, man. Get a life. I think about it at our age with kids doing that and saying, okay, this is it. This is the one. This is what I'm going to be doing today, right? I don't have 5 minutes in the day to think about other people rather than set a whole, you know, Twitter rant and then to make a bunch of videos apologizing, sorry, not sorry. You know, just let people live, man. If you don't like it, move on. I agree. Don't look at the picture. Right? Like, there's better things to waste your time with.
I hate to be this guy.
Go for it.
No, you go.
I mean, as the official villain on the podcast, who spends a lot of time
100%.
making podcasts and videos on the internet, the initial reaction when you see that is like, my reaction wasn't do better. It was, I understand, because so his main, I want to give him some context, not to like totally over. His main point was, listen, if we keep making exceptions and we keep going down this path, where are we going to be in 10 years? What's going to be the line that we say, don't cross this line in 10 years? And he says, look,
what line is, like, what are we talking about?
or like what we consider.
Look at the money. Like, you look at the ones you hate so much. Look at drinking, taking drugs, cutting hair, shaving. Like, you think that's the sword, the one that actually might be inclined to, accept the religion and appreciate it. And where's the start?
No, so look at it like this.
That's their own choice.
No, but look at it like this, right? You take guys right now in the Stada. 20 years ago, you wouldn't see a gold Stada or a dude, wearing a gold Stada at a party. And now all of a sudden, gold Stadas, you see them holding drinks. And it's kind of like, hold on, where did we let that line go? I remember in high school when I saw Singh in the Stad smoking. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Slap that guy up. It became like this, what the hell is this guy doing?
That was the line.
That was that line. And he's saying, we lost it with the guys. Guys have already gone too far but down. It's near impossible to stop it. What happened there? And he's just like, with BBM right now, this isn't commonplace yet. Maybe we should call this out. I think him calling out a girl specifically, one particular person, was, that's in bad taste. But his
am I the opposite to think that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not, females have not disgressed in his eyes, but someone coming to the religion like that is an incredible step. Going against the grain to wear this thought is not something that is normal. I wouldn't say it's normal in my group of friends, so that's already something that's amazing. So how is someone digressing if they're already taking that step? I don't think they're going backwards. They're already making moves in their lives to be a better version of themselves. To base this is the backward step and we're going to head towards the west and because someone wore a dress, like, come on, man, seriously. There's a reason why people turn their backs and say, we're not going to really listen to these types. And then a guy like Diljit comes along and everyone's wearing a bug. So there has to be something up here that makes you think, oh, wait, something I'm saying is not cool. It's not jiving. It's not right. Also, we're talking about stresses. I've seen, and I used to do this too. I used to see a female with this thought. If she had her eyebrows done, I'm like, I'd kind of do this. Wait, why'd you do laser if you believe in the whole hair thing? And then, or someone who's wearing makeup, and I was like, wait, why is she wearing makeup? And I, not because I was judging, because I didn't, I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Now I see, I don't care. That's what you want to do? That makes you happy? Do it. I just don't care. I mean, it's to a point where you get older, you're like, that's not making me a better Sikh in any way. By looking at that person, their life doesn't influence me. You're going to do what you got to do, and you live your own life. So,
we should let women police themselves. They can draw their own line.
That's like exactly.
and me, when I see a dude with a gatra and assless chops, I'll call him out, and that's me.
That's where you.
That's me. Yeah. I'll draw the line there, and I'll say, dude,
that was kind of like. That's kind of my take. I'm like, look.
Is the assless chops that bothers you, or the whole ensemble?
The whole ensemble.
Is it?
Where is it though? So like you said something about like let the women police women. I'm worried about the guy with assless chaps type thing. Is that a fair thing that like it should be like Sandy? Where do you think should it only be women who are able to kind of call behavior out that they think, and men should stick to like trying to call out men?
No, I think everybody needs to just shut up and worry about themselves and stop calling each other out. There's so many layers. Even to this story, there's so many layers. And nobody's in a position to judge ever. And I think that, of course, this is very hopeful, but we waste so much time and go deeper and deeper into our mental health, ruining it, doing these things and thinking about other people and judging them, and then like reflecting back on ourselves and feeling like shit. All that causes is guilt and shame. When you judge somebody, it makes you feel like shit, whether you admit it or not, eventually. And it speaks more about the person than it does about the one that they're judging, always. And I think that, I don't know, maybe being in the social media space for as many years as I have been and exploring my Sikhi in the ways that I have, I've just come to the conclusion that there's no reason to spend time judging anyone and having expectations of like, oh, women can police themselves or men can police themselves. Like, no. But you can police yourself and you're a person.
But we do it. We do it. And, you know, yeah. I 100% agree with the sentiment you're saying, but the mechanics and nuts and bolts of how we actually live, I'll just put this out there. When it comes to guys and girls, I think girls police themselves way more than guys police guys. And I'll say this by dropping this little tidbit. In my own family, and you know, Sandy, you know them.
He's sleeping on the couch today. Watch.
Yeah, I many women will not wear the same Indian outfit to multiple events just because not what other guys will think, but what other women will think if they wore the same Indian outfit. And that's them, and that's the women policing themselves. Okay, whether it's a right standard or wrong standard, women care more about what other women think about what they wear than what dudes think. From my opinion,
we can break it down and wonder where that came from. I'm sure men had to do with that as well. Why women started policing each other.
Yeah, Ranjit, it's your fault.
Fine.
I don't even know how to relate to this because I've never worn multiple outfits.
Same thing once, and now
there are certain things in our culture, though I will agree. I'll agree a little bit with Ranjit that women do disservice to themselves. I mean, the relationships between a mother, a daughter-in-law, and a mother-in-law, that relationship, it's two women. I don't know why you all can't figure it out. It's across everything.
Right?
Yeah, it's always
this guy drops a mother-in-law.
I know. I'm just talking about relations. There's certain standards you think.
Robbie has some trauma.
Not trauma. Yeah, you call it trauma.
We're exploring this one now, are we?
No. I just see it. You know, there's certain things that you think like, I don't get why there's strife for judgments. You know, we're talking about judgments here, right? Where these are easy things. The suit thing, that's a fashion thing. I don't think other girls, I mean, if they do that, it's kind of weird if they judge someone else. I mean, the guys are wearing the same suit 12 times, straight up. So, but there are things, and not only women and men as well, where we do things to each other where we reinforces judgment culture, right? Like we only do things because we have to, or it's an expectation, and or it's the norm, or calling someone out because it's the right thing to do. So there are certain situations or certain group settings that do reinforce it. So I can agree with you on that. I've seen it in a number of settings. I see it. People complain about it all the time. It might be dads, fathers and their sons, or mothers and their daughters. But there are things that separately that we do kind of agree with, or as you said, handle ourselves. But yeah, I mean, it's not what you're alluding to with the suits and all that. Yeah, I don't agree with that. That's just, yeah, go for it. Rip me up.
One thing that we didn't even touch on in this that I thought was kind of part of the story is ever since the farmers' protest, we've seen an influx of people from Punjab on Twitter now, whereas Twitter used to be mostly diaspora kids. I don't even like the word diaspora. Diaspora?
You can't even say it right.
I can't. I'm on unputted.
Let alone spell it.
No, I know how to spell it. I think I know how to spell it now, but I don't know how to say it. I need a better word. Valatis. It used to be all
Pardesis.
Pardesi. I don't even know if it's Pardesi, but Twitter used to be a lot of Western influence type thing. Punjabi Western kids were social media bound on Twitter. Farmers protest, Twitter, huge thing. A lot of Punjabi Desi uncles, Desis in general, jumped on Twitter from Punjab even. And now I think there's this I don't want to say pollination, but it's cross-pollination of thought, where people who had very traditional Eastern mindsets and philosophies are now being exposed to more Western philosophies, and not in just like the Morning circles, but in the Amritdhari circles now. That is kind of like, what? The Western Sikhs are doing this? That's not normal in Eastern Sikhism.
So you're saying exposure?
There's
being
definitely
exposed to it.
They're definitely being there's this exposure to what the younger generation and what the Western generations do and get up to that may not have been as predominantly known about. That I think is also
I think if you're so kind of buried in routine and rules and regulations and expectations and a way to do things, any new perspective is going to rub you the wrong way, right? They're probably looking at Western, oh, that's wrong, but those guys aren't thinking about anybody else. But you're like, this is the right way. And that's the problem in our culture across all things. This is the only way. This is the expectation. Things can't change. I like you use cross-pollination, but I know you don't know what pollination means.
I do. Just because I can't spell a word doesn't...
You use cross-pollination like a science word. I had to say it. But yeah, it is a meeting of ideas now between the East and the West. But I also think people in India and stuff like that are changing rapidly as well. I mean, they are more Western. I mean, as much as we don't want to think of the general population, there is becoming more Western. Hell, they're sending everybody to us. So what do they think is going to happen? Let's be realistic with that, right? The old notion that the old ways are going to stay tried and true, it's a falsehood. It's not going to stay consistent. And if you think in 10 years it's not going to look completely different, you're out to lunch, The same people are coming out here, living a different life, exposed to Western ideologies, Western way of living. They're going to apply that to their lives, and they're going to be different people, for better or for worse, whichever way you want to take it. But the old uncle guard, thinking nothing's going to change, go for it, man. If that's the
on that notion of holding on to your old beliefs and maybe outdated beliefs in some circles, Ranji, do you want to talk about that hockey player? What was it? He kind of got called out because he was trying to say that these are my beliefs from the old country and I'm sticking with them. They're my religious beliefs, and that's just how things are.
The Russian hockey player, yes.
Yeah, Sandy, I don't know if you came across this too, but there was a Russian hockey player. He plays for Philadelphia Flyers. His name is Provorov. Oh, and there goes Robbie. Anyways, so it was Pride theme night at the game, and for warm-ups there was a special warm-up jersey that the Flyers team had to wear. It was the rainbow jersey, and one player, Provorov, refused to wear it, so he didn't do the pregame skate, but he played the rest of the game. And at the end of the game, the coach, Tortorella, he said, hey, look, this guy, my player, told me before the game it's against his religion. He doesn't feel comfortable supporting a cause that is, against his beliefs, but he doesn't want to offend anyone either. He just doesn't want to participate. So he's like, I was okay with that. I'll let him play. This caused a lot of stir. I don't know. Initial thoughts. I don't know. Sandy, why don't you go if you heard about this at all?
This is a tough one because I'm not as I get and I respect that it's his job and it's important to look at it that way. Like it's his work. This is what he does. He should be allowed to make decisions based on his values. But then there's also it's 2022. With your job comes great responsibility, and you do have to understand the weight of your decisions and your actions. And I don't know. I mean, my initial reaction is he should have just done it. It's like, it sucks because now all of his fans are gonna make a judgment about him and his beliefs, and that could potentially be bad for him. But I don't know.
I want to say his His jersey sold out after he did this.
That's interesting. I mean, I think it's okay that he did that. I mean, he didn't come out and say anything derogatory, did he?
No, he was
He
very respectful.
He literally
about
just said, you know what, it's not aligns with my values, and I respectfully declined to wear the jersey. Therefore, I respectfully, yeah, that's okay with me. He's not. If he came out and said something derogatory or put the community down, that's fine. But he's entitled to his right. It's freedom as well. And if he doesn't feel comfortable, if it was, let's say, if it was a religious restriction of ours, and we didn't feel comfortable, that would be allowed. So that's fine. Interesting enough that his jersey got sold out, though. That's pretty funny. That's kind of like, have you guys heard of Morgan Wallen, the country singer? He got caught on a random video saying the N-word, and he became the biggest music star of 2021. His music skyrocketed. Take it for what you it is. There's people that think that's supporting someone, so maybe that's what they're doing.
I have to tap out, y'all. It's a school night.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Sandy.
Invite me back
Done.
with an actual schedule. That's
What are you
should be in
talking
my
about? We're
email.
pros.
Look, we've been doing this for years. This is as good as it's ever been.
You'd be surprised at how long we've been doing this. It's not gonna. This is the best it's gotten.
We're like any old marriage. You can try as hard to change us, but this is it.
If we want viewership to go up to more than just your 3 wives, then we might have to make an agenda.
The joke's on
Joke's
you.
on-
My wife
Yeah,
doesn't listen.
my wife doesn't listen unless I'm listening to it.
It's mine, isn't it? Mine.
Mine's like this cute little hobby he has sitting there.
This is our therapy session. Thank you for being a part of it today.
Yeah, this is just us talking shit with.
Good to be here. Thanks, guys.
All right, cheers.
Take care.
I'm really
All right,
curious.
Shinda.
I was really curious if she knew how to
I
exit,
felt like
but-
she left before she had to get canceled.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah.
is not gonna.
This is not gonna end well.
She saw what was coming down in that topic list. She's like, peace.
Yeah, I ain't here.
I
Yeah,
should
but
probably-
that guy basically said the N-word. He had the top, and he's back. He's singing in the country music again. But some fans think they show appreciation by.
It becomes code though,
You know.
right? Like now that jersey
Yeah,
is
it's
code.
like a code. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
right?
look, if you want to
but
let people know you're not down with it, that's what you rock.
But straight up, he wasn't being derogatory. He wasn't being, if he had come said something, for sure, he deserves the weight of the world. But he came out and they asked him, what religion are you? He said his religion. That was the end of it. I don't think
Russian Orthodox.
Russian Orthodox. I mean, he doesn't have to say anything else. If that's his religion, that's his religion, right? I mean, there's this whole new narrative too that if you don't believe in something, you automatically have to
You're part of the
agree to it. And, yeah, I mean, if you just respectfully decline, that should be taken as like, cool,
Well,
that's fine. You know.
What if it was multiculturalism night and a player chose not to participate?
I'd be fine with that. If he answered in that way and he said it was his religion, and there is a history showing that it's a part of their religion, I'd be like, yeah, cool. Really, I wouldn't really care.
I mean, imagine it's like multicultural night and it's like, okay, everyone's wearing these funny hats. If you're wearing the star, do you put that funny hat on? Or you're like, nah, I don't,
Yeah, you say respectfully decline.
Well, I agree. The only reason why I'm cool with him doing it the way he did is how he did it. He was very respectful and chill about it. But he should have done it because his team did it. And as a team, from a team perspective, he should have done it.
I got a question here.
It's a person. It's not personal. It has nothing, but it has nothing to do with hockey.
The man next to you that will block a shot for you. Well, if he's doing it, then just do it for the next man.
Right.
It's not much of a stretch.
But I agree with you. I'm just saying I can agree from your viewpoint, but the way he approached it was completely nothing wrong. I'm just saying from a legal standpoint, from everything that he's done, you can't turn around and say, "Oh, he's hateful." He's not being hateful. He's just saying it doesn't align with my values.
We got 2 lawyers here now from a legal
My friend
perspective.
here doesn't seem to understand the basis of law.
No,
I know you're sitting on something.
So we had Kaepernick who kneeled for the national anthem respectfully because he asked a vet what's the best way to deal with things. Respectfully kneeled, said, I can't support this country in the state it's in with all the blacks getting murdered by police. And I'm trying to make a little bit of a statement here, and I just don't want to stand for the national anthem. Got killed, buried. We all know what happened to Kaepernick. It's a story that tells itself at this point, right? It was like one of those historic moments in sports that's going to be put in every single textbook from here on out. What happened to Kaepernick was the right got really, really mad at him for not standing with the soldiers, not standing with the flag, even though he got permission to do it, asked, all that kind of stuff, to be, how could I do this respectfully? Now, this hockey player, is the left coming at him for being a homophobe? Because I saw some of that. I don't know how big of a deal that became. But is it both sides saying, hey, if you don't believe what we believe in, that automatically makes you this? Where he didn't want to skate with the Prime Jersey, now
but look from your perspective, do you think Kaepernick was wrong?
No.
I mean, you're going to have the right side always react in its own way, and the left side, this time it's the left side reacting, with him.
There's one fair criticism about all this. The coach, John Tortorella, he spoke out about players taking the knee, like Kaepernick. He said he would bench any player who did that, but he allowed this. And no repercussions. So,
but John Tortorella also is not the beacon of patience.
Yeah,
or he is an interesting person, right? He's Jekyll and Hyde at times. Yeah,
he got pushed on about being the contradiction and a hypocrite. Sorry, not contradiction, the hypocrisy. And then he admitted, he's like, I shouldn't have said what I said back then. I was wrong about it. Like, taking a knee is fine. So people change, times change, but
there's something more to this that I kind of want to. I don't know if you guys have heard Harry Potter. You guys all know Harry Potter. It's huge. You guys.
This can't be good. Okay, go
Harry
on.
Potter.
Yeah, the fact that he's explaining Harry Potter to us.
Harry Potter exists. J.K. Rowling, she got in a lot of trouble a while back because she's
still getting in trouble.
still getting dragged to this day. It's been 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
Now, Harry Potter is coming out with a video game that's launching this month. Beautiful looking video game. Everyone sees it like, oh my god, I can't believe they made a Harry Potter world come to life like this video game.
This is the one for PS5, right? Yeah.
PS5. I think it's going to be on Xbox, probably PC, hopefully. Game looks like amazing. But there's a campaign that you should be boycotting this game because the argument is if you play and support this game, you are supporting J.K. Rowling's transphobic comments, which become a whole different thing. And there's like this campaign of no one should play this, no one should stream this, no one should do any sort of content around this game. This game should not be part of the social conscience as a unified protest.
I mean, just as they're allowed to say their arguments in free speech, so are the other people. So, I mean, doing a protest on a video game, I mean, if you found out the bigotry in half the story writers that we know through history or where half of our movies come from and old Hollywood and how racist those people were, we shouldn't be watching anything. The reality is art, that's separate. If art has elements of that bigotry, fine, go ahead, call for the boycott. But if the two are not related, it's just her name, I mean, and you want to cancel the series, I mean, yeah, sure. That's what that's what you're going to fight for. Go waste your time, right? I mean, I don't see the connection. If you don't like her, you don't like her. But now you're going after a video game that has a story that's not related to her comments.
Well,
I mean, what's the connection? Just to try to cancel someone, and when she's probably not even, she sold most of her rights, didn't she, to the Harry Potter franchises anyway? So I don't even think she's profiting off these sources of media. So what does it matter, right? So
since we're here, and I'm kind of teed up for something that I put on the board to discuss. J.K. Rowling, transphobia. Okay, I'm not transphobic, by the way, but there's a topic that's kind of piqued my curiosity.
You're trans concerned?
Is that a thing? Okay.
No, I just made it up. Just to get you in trouble.
It's I mean, yeah, I'm threading the needle, I think.
What he's trying to do today. I think he's trying to transition this topic.
Oh, well done. Well, I might get canceled like J.K. Rowling, but trans women in female prisons. I've been seeing this on my feed, on the news randomly here and there. And I know Scotland, I think they're the ones who are doing it first. This will kind of like, maybe raise my eyebrow. It's like, I mean, yeah, the theory supports it, that they should be allowed to be with other women. But then, the other story came out where a trans woman was in a women's prison and ended up raping other women. Come on. There somebody must have saw this as a foreseeable possibility. I'm not saying
rape is kind of prevalent in both prisons.
In prison.
Yeah, in prison. Let's just So it's.
Is it though, or is it just something that we're told is common?
You think it's like folklore? It's like
I feel like
fed to us through media.
I was listening to an interview about a guy who was in jail, and they're like, "Yo, so how is it there? What is it? Did you drop the soap?" He's like, honestly, it's more consensual than it is rape. And sometimes people he's like, from the dudes I know, who it was more consensual, but they didn't want to be the ones who like accepted that they accepted it. So it's easier to say it was rape. I'm sure there's a lot of rape that happens in jails. I just feel like I feel like we were fed this narrative that rape is so commonplace in jail that it's like makes it synonymous with jail. It's like, oh, jail, rape. You're done. You're getting raped in there, bud. Like we joke about it, or we used to joke about it.
Yeah, don't drop the soap and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in like, I only know the stereotypes about male prisons. I guess I'm not plugged into the stereotypes about female prisons. I watched Orange is the New Black. Is that the show?
That was I saw season 1. I haven't been able to get back into it.
I saw a few seasons of it. I mean, there wasn't a lot of rape culture.
I don't think we should be using movies as a reference to what actually happens in the real world.
That's all we know about male prisons. These two.
I'm sure you could find out.
I could.
You are more connected to the legal system than us.
I mean, yeah. So I'm sure rape happens in male prisons. How it happens in female prisons, I guess I'm kind of stupid, but
very aggressive.
I'm gonna pretend like it doesn't really happen that much. But with the influx of trans people mixed in with the Gen Pop, could it go up? Maybe. Is it foreseeable?
Are you suggesting that trans people rape at a higher degree in prison?
No, I know what I'm getting at. I'm just saying.
But is the rule? I mean, is the question at hand in a court of law when they're sentencing? Do they sentence them based on their gender identity or their biological sex?
Oh, I have no idea.
See, that would be my first. Like, everything's so fast these days with this topic, right? That's my first question. So if they're saying, well, biologically you're male, yes, you identify as a female, but then that also puts that person at risk when they go into a male prison, I would assume, right? To some degree, be it from violence and whatnot. But I just think everything's going too fast.
It is going so fast.
It's too quick. I don't even know how to respond to the topic because I'm like, I don't know.
I have two questions for you right here, because there's two things that come to my mind. One, did this person go through some sort of surgery or some sort of like permanent transition thing, or did they just, still have a penis, would say, you know what, I identify as a woman. My pronouns here is she, her. I deserve to go to a women's prison. Identify me as a woman. Was that what happened here, or was? I feel like that. I don't know if I feel personally like that makes a difference in this. Because
listen, there's I don't know enough. I read about it recently. I thought we'd talk about it, but I'll tell you what I'm picturing, and this is my bias.
We're picturing things now.
I'm picturing China, like China from WWF, going into equipped with like male.
All right, because we have a younger audience, I feel like you need to give some sort of background on what that means. China was a big bodybuilder, very dominant, very dominant looking female.
Should I tell you what actually happened?
Bigger than most males.
Maybe we start there.
No average chick would be able to handle some transgendered woman built like China. They will get demolished. I'm saying that.
So it said in Scotland. I'm just reading quickly here on the BBC. There will be a pause on transgender prisoners with a history of violence against women being placed in female jails in Scotland.
No shit.
He goes, an urgent review into the case of a trans woman convicted of raping 2 women before changing gender will also be carried out.
Oh, wow. Hold on. So this person was in jail previously for raping women.
And then
she now identifies as a woman. And it's like a fox figured a way into the hen house almost.
Yeah, blah blah blah. So they're going back and forth because they're like, I'm telling you, it's too quick. They don't know what to do, right? From if you make one misstep, it'll set the rules in place for
So
many
growing
years,
up, we used to watch these like old jail movies or prison movies, however you want to say, and they'd always talk about the guy who had to. You guys watched Prison Break, where the guy pulled out his pocket and gave it to the guy, and like the inside of his pocket, and you're like someone's bitch in the jail. And they always had like in jail movies, they always had like that gay sector of jail, or like the people who were like flamboyantly gay type thing, and they talked about that. Say someone is small and says, "Look, I'm not gonna go to jail. I'm afraid of getting raped if rape culture is a thing in jail." That I'm not really sure it is, but say someone's kind of scared like that, and they're like, "You know what? I'm identify as a woman now, just so I don't have to go to male jail." Is that a thing that we can see happen? You think, or you think? Do you think like there's gonna be like you said brakes put on and people try to sit down and
what they just announced today that no transgender person with a history of violence against women will be accommodated in a women's prison, as the Scotland Justice Secretary has announced, as the country's prison service has announced an urgent review, like I said. So basically, they're just it's like a blanket approach. They're saying if you've had any kind of history in terms of violence against women, doesn't matter when you've become trans, you will not be in a women's prison.
That's a good starting point. Violence against women is bad.
But what about women who are in jail for having violence against women?
Yeah, see, this is a tricky, slippery slope, as they call it, right? So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Like, do you not put men who have committed violent acts against other men in
like
men jail?
this guy? No, but the guy in question is convicted of raping, put in prison, becomes transgender, and wants to be accommodated in a female prison. Like, come on, that's just screaming alarm bells, isn't it? Is it not? Yeah, put him into solitary confinement.
Like I said,
that's
the theory.
That's where he should be. That's where he should be, anyways, right? He raped someone, convicted, put him into solitary, done, finish. He can be whatever he wants. He wants to be blue, go ahead. You can be whatever you want, but you're in solitary. Simple, done. You're a criminal. Why do we give them so many rights, anyways? Well, look in Canada. Look what's happening to the TTC. All these stabbings and these guys shootings, or people that have been released on parole, and there's a problem. There's a problem in our justice system, Ranjit.
Tell me how you really feel.
Let me tell
lawyers like you.
I like how we got Robbie amped up. He's like, "I'm telling you what the real problem is. It's crime. It's going up, and we need to do something to break it down."
What grinds my gears?
But you know what's interesting about this is the stuff that got J.K. Rowling in trouble. Like when her comments originally.
I think her comments. She is defending what a woman is. That's the essence of what I get from her. She believes a woman is
no. So where it came from though was the gender neutral washrooms where they said, "Look, if you're trans, you can go to use a women's washroom." And JK's like, "Look, as a woman who's had years of abuse from a male,
yes,
I'm not comfortable sharing a washroom with someone with males generally." And she's like, "I don't care if they're a woman now. If they were male at one point, I don't want to share washroom with them. I want a woman's washroom to be a woman's washroom," and that's what got her in trouble originally.
But I also think, they're not giving people organically time to get their head around, trans woman being a woman. It's just being kind of forced on all aspects, or you get canceled, or you get this. And even if someone says an opinion like that, you got the cancel army after them, or like Dave Chappelle, for example. You can't discuss the topic, which I find is strange. It's either an ultimatum, either you agree or the world is against you. So it's interesting. Is this more of a Western world thought? I don't think the Eastern world has these. Like I don't see the Middle East having this, or Africa, or India, or
India, and like East Asia. They handle like this whole culture much better than the West, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, right? It's not a constant cancel debate. Like it's accepted, and like in Thailand, it's accepted, and you move on with life, right?
I feel like when you say it's accepted, it's not accepted in that same degree that I think people are looking for acceptance. Like in
it's over the word woman though, right? Like they want to be women. Like I remember we always talk about this programming that we've been programmed since we were kids, Now you're asking people to reprogram themselves and say, well, you know, you were born a woman, or what a woman is, and these questions are being asked, but you're not letting people think about the answer or come to their own acceptance. It's just a hard black and white. And I think that's going to continue. And I think it's going to become a bigger problem because things are just moving so fast. You're not getting a time to kind of digest what the problem is. So even with this, when you guys are, I'm like, I don't know, what's the right answer here? You know, you say one thing, you're canceled. You say the other thing, you seem like a bigot. You say something else, you know.
I've changed my perspective like 4 times during this conversation because it's just so new. Yeah.
You know, it's. I think it's too fast. I just don't think these, you know, sure, maybe rights do have to go quicker, but I mean, you know, for people that have been basically consistent in their thinking or mindset for, like us, 30 years, it's going to take a minute. You know, give us the minute. That's all it is.
Well, this all that goes back to all the other fears people had originally when the liberal sex ed curriculum came out. A big part of it was like parents just not wanting to have that kind of discussion, have kids exposed to these kind of discussions. Like, no, it's important that they did. And now people are like, well, look what happened now. The world's kind of moved on so quickly from this. Where are we at? Where no one really knows what they can and can't say, I guess. And I think there's...
I mean, it's you know what, it's also getting, because it's all being collected into one problem, right? Like if you're against, you know, if you say, well, I don't want another man in the washroom because I feel uncomfortable, then all of a sudden you become phobic of some sort. You know, those are your own personal feelings. If you feel scared because you see a trans woman who is looks like a large man in your eyes, or someone, and in the washroom, and that's threatening, there's nothing wrong with having that feeling, right? That's not phobic. That's not phobic to who they are, or phobic to saying, "Oh, you're homophobic." It has nothing to do with that. But it's, you know, I like that's. I know what the government wants and I know what the right thing is, but I'm just saying it's not enough time to digest that idea. Like, this is okay.
But think about it like this, though. We saw this. I don't know if you guys saw the story out in BC, where there was a women's only gym, or there was a gym. It has a women's only section. And someone who identifies as a female wanted to use that section. And the gym said, listen, we realize what you want, but this area is made so women can work out in peace without feeling like they're being harassed. And this trans woman said, well, so do I. I identify as a woman, and I don't want to be in the male section. I want to feel safe. I want to be in the women's section also. And this irked people because they said, but you intimidate the other women. And then I looked up who this person was. I don't know if they were trolling or not, but this person had a beard. They were pretty stoutly built.
Is this the guy who goes around suing people all the time?
No, but it felt very much like that person.
Like that, yeah.
You know, that guy who wanted to get his things waxed, his genitalia, but he still had male appendages, and he was upset that they only did female-only waxing. And he tried to sue these, I believe they were Indian clinics.
It was an Indian clinic,
waxing, and you're kind of like,
no, I mean,
maybe it's cases like that give everything a bad name, right? That there's no kind of middle. You hear that shit, you're like, well, yeah, you're like, and then you get people who don't care, and you get other people.
And then it hurts the people who are actually trying to push
hurt your movement, right? So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be kind of some agreements made or some movement on it. One, it would be like how much percentage, like I said, of the population. How often are these things happening? You know, and things will be done, but to expect it to be done overnight, sure, you can hope, right? I mean, things don't happen. I mean, look at civil rights in general, right? It'll take time, but you need to there's certain things you need to give people time for. That's all I'm saying, right?
Yeah, this is definitely one of them.
And like,
yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, and I'm not phobic, but if I saw a female in the washroom, and she looks like a female, but mentally she identifies as a male, I don't know that, right? Let's just throw that out there. I wouldn't know that, but I would kind of be like, hey, what the hell? Did I go in the wrong washroom? I mean, that's just natural. That's not phobic. That's not me being, oh, you're not, if you came here, yeah, you can't be here, blah, blah, blah. I would still question it because my program out of me said, hey, something feels off, right? Something's not right here.
Yeah. I'd be waiting a little bit as I change.
Or get away with gender washrooms and just do individual stalls and call it a day, right? Is that the solution? Go with that, right? Like,
I mean, if I'm peeing and like a woman comes up beside me and I'm at a urinal and I'm like, I'd honestly be like, Chalo, this is what it is now, and just keep going. And you gotta just keep it moving at some point, right?
So, have you watched The 100?
Great Netflix series. No, but this situation in BC is interesting because the government kind of said, "Listen, you got to take it to the Human Rights Tribunal," and everyone's like, "You're gonna 100% win. You're gonna have a case against this gym." And so now, as a business owner, are you even? What can you do?
Yeah, man. What if it's the whole self-identity thing, right? And then, that's the complication. Like, if I started to identify tomorrow, do I get women's rights just because I said it?
I feel like you lose rights. No, isn't it supposed to go the other way? I thought you lose rights when you
whatever. You know what I'm trying to get at. It's like I said, it's so fast, so soon. There's going to be some mistakes made. Clearly, like that guy being put into the female ex-rapist being put into the female population in a jail. All right, there's going to be mistakes made. I'm just saying, it just feels so fast that you don't even have time to process it, and you're so concerned with saying the wrong thing.
You know who you remind me of though? You remind me of Abe Simpson from Simpsons. Like, I used to know what cool was, and then they changed what cool is, right? And it's gonna happen to you. I feel like Robbie's at the point where he's like, it's happened to me. I just don't know. But talking about women gyms, like, there is this thing going on the internet. I don't know if you guys been witness to the phenomenon where girls, or where I think now guys are afraid to go to the gym because they don't know if they're gonna get caught innocently being in the background of a woman working out and being kind of canceled for it.
Well, look, there's a popular meme right now. It's some British sounding chick made a video of herself working out, and she hilariously thought that she would be cool doing this. She was working out, doing hip thrusts, weighted hip thrust, and there's a dude just working in the background, honestly minding his own business, but he just happened to be in the shot, and she tried to make an example out of him as he worked out and minded his own business, and she was saying he was a creep. I don't think anyone ever remotely thought he was being a creep. Just shows that she has some sort of weird complex and has some issues to deal with. But the fucking reaction's been hilarious. She went viral for the wrong reasons, and there's so many funny videos making fun of it. But it just goes to show that, are we in a space where like we allow this kind of shit? Like, the spectrum's gone too far the other way.
One, you shouldn't be recording in a gym. Period.
Yeah, 100%.
Secondly, the shit you're wearing, and if you on the side, or was she doing? She's the one on OnlyFans. You guys were saying?
Yeah.
So like, so you obviously want attention, right? That's the nature of the game. And now you're just calling this guy out because it's maybe a popular video to call someone out. But what happened to just working out and going home?
And it's not a female only thing, right? We see guys do this all the time where they post videos of themselves in the change room. Flexing and whatnot.
Well, once again, you shouldn't be recording shit in the gym. Go home and do what you got to do. Why are you in the gym? Why are you recording where there's other people walking around, or other people? Like, we just talked about safe spaces in gyms, right? Yeah, I'd be pissed if when someone workout video, I didn't realize that I'm just in the background. Wouldn't you be pissed if it's splattered all over the internet without your consent? What the fuck? I'm wearing a hoodie, this baggy hoodie, not to show off the flab.
I can just imagine this image of Robbie working out in the background on a Stairmaster, just dying and just like vomiting.
Dude, I got filmed in a gym by those YouTube guys. Remember?
Oh my god! And those guys have like the #1 podcast in the world right now, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, who is it? The Nug Boys?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
They pranked him. They
pranked me.
Really?
He's in one of the early prank videos.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, I got pranked by them.
Ranjit's call to fame, really.
100%.
Only a way for you to somehow link this podcast to that video. Like, YouTube just needs to find that algorithm that connects your face to that face and say, if you like this video, you'll like this one. We're Married Boys. Yeah.
Guy prank makes a podcast.
That's about it. It's a weird.
But yeah, gym's weird, man. I would have to know to go. I don't really go anymore, so maybe I shouldn't be the forefront expert as you guys. Maybe Ranji goes. Ranji goes every day now.
I do.
What do you think, Ranji? Do you think people should film in the gym?
No, but I also have an old school mindset. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but yeah, no, don't do that. Take your selfies at home when you're done, or do it in the change room, like in front of the mirror where you're just by yourself, you know, like have some
just go
class
home.
about it.
What the hell are you in the change room? Go home.
Because the pump only lasts so long, Robbie.
You got a 10-minute window to get that optimal.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, in the change room, one thing, like when you are in the common space, like, come on, man, just be classy, do your thing, lift your weights, put them back. Put them back and go home.
Put them back. Forget about everything else. Put your weights back.
I'll say this. A lot of people who are trying to become fitness influencers have no business being fitness influencers. They're not big enough. They're just not, you know, it's like, buddy, you're what, 2 weeks ahead of me with body, man? Chill. You look like a 45-year-old.
No, but if you're trying to, if you're trying to be a fitness influencer, then you're obviously taking a business approach from it. Then you should actually sign out a private space in the gym, do your workout, conduct business, create a video, create content, and then go home. Those people in the gym are members just like you. You don't have any special rights because you're filming, or you're in the gym, or someone's walking by. You're equal members.
What about the counter to that?
If
say you're training and you're serious about your training. You're not trying to make a business, but you want to send your coach a video. You want to get feedback on what you're doing.
You ask someone to. You can ask someone to record it. That's fine. But if you have a constant video stream going on for 40 minutes, there's an issue. Right? If you just have a camera sitting there and it's like after 5 sets it hasn't moved, you know, if you want to take, you know, I'm going to hit my personal best, I need someone to record it. Can you record this? I want to watch my form. Cool. That's the way it always was. What's this constant stream now? They have their camera set up at the perfect angle where it's a wide shot. You're going to catch everybody at the gym without their consent on top of that. So I don't think it's training. I think it's, you know, watch me at the gym. Yeah, self-promoting. And if you really want to do that and it's a business to you, then, you know, have the acumen, grab a private gym and start doing it, right? So I think if people are paying memberships, the gym's a safe place to work out. There should be no recording. Simple. It should be a rule, no cameras.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. That would solve all your problems. People just go out, work out, go home.
All right. Just last thing, I don't know if you guys saw this. The Ontario Liberals have reached a new low, it seems.
Dude, RIP Ontario Liberals.
Man, I was just thinking about running.
Robbie didn't have enough of this
leader of the Liberals. Hey, anyone's.
Well, then that's the leader of the Liberals right there.
That's it.
Right?
Clearly, I'm a Liberal. Yeah. Can't keep my internet connection going.
So a bunch of Liberal members, were they members or the MPs? I'm not sure about that detail, but they wrote a letter to Mike Schreiner, who is the leader of the Ontario Green Party. Has one seat. And they said, hey, Mike, do you mind? We want you to be the leader of the Liberals. And he's reluctantly said, hey, I'll think about it and get back to you.
I'll think about it.
It was such a, it's so cringe. And now he basically said, no, you asked out a girl and she said no in front of 1,000 people.
What are they doing? They just got to wait it out. Just wait it out. Election comes. There's enough people hating Ford right now that the Liberals are bound to get some more seats. They'll beat the NDP. No, who's leading the NDP, right? Like, NDP doesn't have a chance now.
Hold on. Why the hell are people hating Ford?
There's enough of us that hate Ford.
Us? Dude just brought a medical school to friggin' Brampton.
What is it? He didn't do it. I mean, he put in an old library. I got my own problems with it. But there's enough people that don't like him. They don't like their. I'm not saying that they're going to win. No, I'm not saying that. But I think the anger now has shifted from the Liberals, who no one even considers a party or a threat. Now you need to hate on someone, so you hate on Ford. Who do you vote for? Well, I'm not voting for that guy, so I'll vote Liberal. As what I'm saying is that is going to generate something for these guys. Maybe not a win, but maybe there'll be an official party status again.
It's pretty sad though that, you know, they didn't have the foresight to develop leaders within the party. I mean, the Kathleen Wynne years were pretty long.
Yeah, but they've been in a dynasty for how many years? Was it 12 years?
14.
14 years. They're a championship team. Winning. They blew up the team.
It doesn't matter. You develop like leaders, man, within the party. And now they have nothing. They have that stupid delegate system that it's like power brokering. That's it. No one's going to let somebody good come up.
I mean, look, it's not for a lack of leaders. There's a bunch of people who, if they ran for a Liberal leader, you'd think, hey, that's a pretty good leader. But none of them want to be Liberal leaders. Bonnie Crombie.
Well, no one wants to lose.
No, Bonnie Crombie, mayor of Mississauga.
Yeah.
You know, people were like, she needs to come and run for the Liberal Party. She's a great leader. People love her. People in Mississauga love her. She could, you know, she's young enough that she isn't seen as like this old head, doesn't understand what's going on with this society. Ran a major city.
I wouldn't.
Right?
I wouldn't leave.
Yeah, she said
if she could be legacy, man. If she could do
She's Hazel. She's
RP
next
Hazel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like that. City of Mississauga for something years, and look at all the respect Hazel gets. She go to Liberal Party, maybe, you know, win a few seats, become leader, not win a majority, and then she's out. Legacy done. Right? The risks are higher. She's already achieved a level of success that she probably has more power as well. Right?
You need to make it more of a sure thing too before you go in like that.
Like Dougie.
I mean, look, honestly, hold on. What's your beef with this hospital?
Spread a sex scandal and take control of the Liberal Party, Conservative Party. Sorry.
Hold on. What's this beef with this hospital? I see nothing wrong with this.
What hospital?
The
second hospital?
Peel Memorial being turned into a 24-hour emergency room. We're not going to consider it a hospital.
Yeah. Let's just make it a hospital. It should have been from day one. You keep announcing new things that it was. Remember, it was already a hospital.
And then
it's already been
needed its renovations. They tore it down, rebuilt it.
Just do it.
All right. Brought up med school. First med school in 30 years to open?
100
years. And Robbie's still mad at that. Robbie's still mad about it.
I'm not mad at that. I don't like the site. My problem was the site. I don't know why they picked that one. They took away a library. I don't know what's happening with the library, if it's moving or so. I have no contacts on this.
Look,
I don't know why there.
Because they probably
went to the sites in Brampton.
They probably went to the city, said, "Hey, do you have a place for this?" And they said, "Look,
there's no hospital near it. Why don't you make it right next to a hospital?
Peel Memorial's 10 minutes. Peel Memorial's literally 10 minutes away, down the road,
right
on
next,
Queen.
right next to it.
So you wanted them?
Yeah, it would have been nice if it was a teaching hospital. Yeah, so that'd be cool.
I'm just trying to get to the thinking, right?
No, but
and have you been? I used to go to the library when I was in high school. Did you guys?
That was one of my main libraries. I used to like that library a lot.
That's not a big building. It's deceivingly small.
But it's a building that the city was able to put up for them.
Yeah, but they could have put up a building actually on the memorial area.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
Think about it though. You use what you have.
If they can build that beautiful new police station right across the street from the medical school, they could have done better than this. But I'm happy. I know I'm happy. I just don't know. Let's just wait and see. That's it. That's all I can say.
You can never please a liberal. You can never make
no,
a liberal
I'm not liberal
happy.
on this. I know. I was pretty happy with their announcement. I think it's funny how all the councillors stand up and take credit for it as if they actually did anything. You know, maybe a few of them were involved, but most of them didn't do anything. They're just there for the photo ops.
Fastest turnaround in city council history. They get elected and they got this. They made the calls and got it done.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was in the works for a while, right?
You know who?
I think it was all Mr. Sarkaria on that.
That's what I want to say. I want to say we got to give credit to Mr. Sarkaria here. This guy.
There you go. Give him the credit. It's all the other peanut gallery standing behind him. Probably didn't do much.
This guy's been working hard for Brampton here.
I think Brown did anything on this, did he?
He had to have. He made look to the city's defense. You know, they were able to secure a building for them and put up some money for that building.
Okay.
And, you know, they were able to work with, Rob on this and say, look, what can we do to help you? And he said, look, you need to get me a building if you want this to happen. Or I'm guessing that's how the conversation happened. I have no idea. But
that's probably exactly what happened.
So when's the first enrollment of the medical school?
In 2 years, 2020.
So they obviously have to retrofit the entire building now, right?
They'll probably
which is cheaper than putting up a new one, probably.
Which depends. I mean, look at the Prime Minister's residence. It should have been just torn down and rebuilt. It's like 200 million or something in the hole.
Yeah, but that's a heritage site. That's why, right?
I know. I'm just saying sometimes retrofitting is not easy.
I'm curious how they're going to do it. But I used to go to that library all the time. I thought it was a great library. It was probably the best library for us growing up. Was like, yo, you got to go to the Brampton Library. It was better than South Fletcher's.
I mean, I hope that area gets better. I mean, I think if that's the starting point. If that's a starting point to develop, sure. I mean, but losing the LRT should have been the first problem. Somehow they need to bring that back. I don't know if you guys been to Mississauga recently on Highway 10. It looks incredible. Like they are just, it's going to be amazing.
Thank our old city council from 2 councils ago. for the LRT.
Yeah, I think they're still there, aren't they? Some of the people.
A lot of them. Oh no. A few
No,
of
a
them.
lot of gone.
A lot of them. We've
okay.
gotten rid of at least half of them. So change is slow, but it comes.
Yeah, I mean, medical school will be good. I mean, nothing to hate on it. It's just it's good. I'm happy.
Does Vaughan have a medical school?
No, Vaughan has great hospitals, brother.
I don't know anything about that.
That's
but-
true.
You let's go. I mean, I'm happy. Medical school, sure. 2 years to build, 4 years for medical school. So you're looking at 6 years before the first graduates come out, which is great. I think they're going to do more international. They might start an international training program there. Okay, but that doesn't improve the city of Brampton. Do you get what I'm saying?
I feel like it does.
No, because how does a McMaster medical school improve the city of Hamilton? Those doctors don't stay locally. And remember, these people are applying just to get in. They're not necessarily going to stay. Like, how does a medical school improve the city? If it was a full on campus, if they had taken over Sheridan and Ryerson said, you know what, we're taking over Sheridan, which they won't because Sheridan's probably one of the richest
But it's also not
educations
a public. It's not a public school that they can just take over.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. So it's one campus, it's one building, which is good. It's a good look for the city. It definitely brings a different perspective. If we can do it, yeah, maybe more will come. But it doesn't necessarily do nothing for us, for the city. Having a medical school, it doesn't do nothing for us. I mean, let's make that clear.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's not like this is a university where it can take on like 10, 15,000, 20,000 students of Brampton who are going somewhere else. No, it's going to take a class of 100, right? And that 100 isn't going to come from Brampton.
No, they're going to stay in Brampton.
It'll be from everywhere. Robbie's right though. It's nice, it's positive, but it's more of a feel-good story than any actual concrete.
I like how you were able to shit on our medical school coming to Brampton.
I'm not shitting on it. It's just
no. But your perception when the politicians, this is what we've done for Brampton. Let's roll that back.
You're pumping tires for the sake of pumping tires.
I can listen to BS all day. So what does this do for the city? Is it going to lower taxes or is it going to increase our taxes?
Is it going to make our healthcare better?
Are we going to get some kind of funding? Is there going to be improved investments from other companies? Is there going to be a research center?
Is Brampton Hospital better for this? No.
Well, now they have more student doctors to help.
Possibly. I mean, yes, 100%. If they work with the two hospitals in conjunction, you definitely could say, fine, that is a betterment. But to stand there and think it's a renowned improvement, Brampton's on a new level now. Yeah, it's a huge deal, but it's not a huge deal for the general population. A hospital, a concrete hospital, full on functioning. Hey, our population is booming. Mind you, we have, you should go after Sheridan for all the students. We have this huge population, which we can't handle. And the government needs to turn around and say, yeah, we got a problem. Let's fix it. A medical school, which is great, no one's shitting on that achievement, is not going to help the problem at hand. And like I said, 6 years. 6 years, it's a dud.
All right.
Before you can get, and you can't get anyone out of it. I know Shinda doesn't like the topic.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying you guys are haters. But talking about
I'm not hating. I'm not hating at all.
Let's talk about someone who got no hate. Hazel McCallion served city of Mississauga for 30 years. Finally passed away.
Top G,
Hazel McCallion.
Top G status.
That's crazy though. She was mayor of Mississauga for the majority of my life.
Yeah.
How well is that?
Strong. I mean, political willpower and political mind must have been insane. Doesn't we all know what it takes.
I mean, she was sharp as hell. Every interview I saw her, right from like even last year, every politician needed the Hazel McCallion blessing if they're running in Ontario. That's how powerful.
I didn't even know she was the first female professional hockey player in the world.
What?
When I found that out, yeah, she's the first professional female hockey player in history. Type it up. I mean, before misquote me, but I'm
gonna just say that's one bullshit. But that just sounds wrong.
Type it up. Just type in Hazel McCallion hockey. I mean, how hard?
I pull it up, but yeah, passed away. Kind of shocking. I mean, it's one of those weird things when someone that old passed away. You're like, yeah, it was gonna happen. People have been trying to think about it happening for the last 30 years. Because always is she really running in the next term? She's too old.
Hazel McCallion was one of Canada's first professional female hockey players.
It's so funny because she was 101, crazy.
101, yeah.
And she was still making the news over like the green space and all that, right? She was kind of getting criticized for it. And I didn't really read into the story too much, but I remember thinking, wow, she's still in the news cycle. Good for her. And then this, man, like she, whether you like her or you don't like her, she was an institution in herself.
Yeah.
So
I mean, every politician has pros and cons, right? So
And she kind of built Mississauga up basically from.
yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, the LRT is going to be named after her, but she, it would have been awesome if she was there to see it. But what an honor, right? Like that huge train system is going to be in her name. So
It's kind of crazy considering just how long she had influence over every politician that came out now said my mentor, Justin Trudeau, that was his mentor. Doug Ford, friend and mentor. John Tory, friend and that's because even when these guys were young, she was still like top old school.
Yeah.
all their dads,
Yeah, she was
right? She met them as kids.
Yeah.
All their dads probably knew Hazel McCallion from back in the day, and that's what it is, right? So, or their moms if they were politicians, but she's the Bibi, man. She's everyone's Bibi. They went to approval. They got Sikh advice. They, political strategy or
Like
what to do.
her and Bill Davies, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Davies, yeah, as well, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean,
End of an era there.
Do we see that again? I don't think so. I mean, what's the general life?
Crombie could.
I mean, she's done one term. She's got to do like another 20 before she's in that conversation.
Crombie's done more than one term.
No, she's in her third, isn't she?
So in the essence of who's in the politics GOAT, Hazel has to be up there.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore of politics, right? Like
longest serving.
She brought the airport. She got airport included into Mississauga. That's hers.
She
right?
got.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things she did. You're like, that was smart.
Robbie's like, she got the Malton Nugget kid in a lot of trouble. He's loving that. Wouldn't give him the road.
Her son was shady. I think her son was shady though. But that's what I've heard.
I mean, I feel like Madame owes her a couple of buildings and with her name on it.
More than a few.
More than a few. I mean, look at our. Who do we have? Who was the Susan Fennell? I think she was the most corrupt. Was she the most corrupt?
No, the one before her.
Supposedly.
Peter Robertson got in a lot of trouble over that stuff.
I mean, Brampton was just farmland at that point, so
he was
just playing Yellowstone, bro.
No,
he's
Peter,
like, north of Bouvard, go for it.
Springdale was all Peter Robertson.
Yeah, when I got there, Springdale was only the Fertinos, and literally they had stopped building north of that. So north of that ravine, if you go now and you're going on Mount Nash, you cross the bridge onto the other side of Sandalwood. That was all farmland, man. Like I remember driving as a kid all the way to countryside. Seemed like, man, there's nothing here. Mayfield is like, you've gone too far. And if you had old school, you're like, now it's going to, I might get lost. How do I get back? So yeah, I mean, it was like Yellowstone to these guys. Yeah, take it. Take all that.
I remember coming up to Castlemore from my Lawson side and thinking, I'm entering the boonies. Drive's taking so long. And now it's like an everyday occurrence to go across Brampton like that.
I used to hear Mayfield. Was it Mayfield? Used to be the gun line. That you had to conceal your gun, your hunting rifle into some box or something like that. This is way back in the day, they're saying. So Mayfield used to be like the line for cottage country, I guess. Even Vaughan, like I worked with this old doctor. And he goes, yeah, my family cottage was in like where Vaughan is now in Kleinburg. That was our family cottage. Like, that's as north as you went. I'm like, that boggles my mind. I'm like, that's crazy, man. There's a highway there now, right?
Yeah.
So the world is changing, and then all of a sudden you're like, shit, I should have bought a house back in the day when it's only.
Seriously.
When it was $100,000? Fuck.
Yeah, or should have bought land on that new highway that Ford's building.
I mean, I feel like everybody thought about that, and then no one actually did.
Did they?
I know so many people for the last 2 decades saying, "Hey, buy land around the 413. One day it'll happen."
Were they all Doug's friends because you roll in those circles?
I wish, man. Doug Ford did not give me a tip. Even if he did, it's not like I could afford it with the liberal spending and inflation and recession and all that kind of stuff. Damn Trudeau, shake my fist. Anyways, boys, we've been at this for a long time, man.
Yep, time to go watch Last of Us.
Yes. You want to hear something?
I haven't started that. I started half an episode.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it.
No, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, it is.
Did you like the game?
Right.
Did you get a chance?
Yeah, the game was awesome. Yeah, the game was awesome.
You'll like it.
I played the first one, not the second one.
Yeah, I haven't played the second one. This is only based on the first one right now.
Okay, sweet.
And I haven't watched episode 3, but episode 1 and 2, amazing show. Wish Halo could do that, but it is what it is. Anyways, boys, have a good night.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Hold on, that's derogatory in some languages.
No, do the Ginty again. That was funny.